Okay, so in the previous session, we have discussed about the IR aspects. Today, we will discuss more about the security related dimensions. So, we will be covering all the current affairs that are in the news from the last 1 year or 2 years, more than that. Anything, everything is related to the exam, both from the prelims point of view and mains point of view, we will be covering things. So, like as I've discussed, slowly and gradually, we will move in a more prelims point of view. Currently, we are doing in an integrated manner. Gradually, we will move in a more pre-oriented manner. Okay, chalo, let's discuss. Now see, Astalakshmi Mahotsav. This was a meeting conducted in the New Delhi during the December 6th and 8th. Now, if I consider this thing only from the prelims point of view, it is not that important, not that relevant, you may think. Okay, and I will agree that it may not be that important for the prelims, but however, this was the first time that is meeting being conducted in the Delhi Pragati Maidan. It is a meeting which is trying to bring the awareness about the Northeast states. Now, can I use this example in the mains regarding the awareness building in the society where we are trying to bring the national consciousness, national unity, where the problems of divide and rule or everything, such kind of tendencies are going on, racial abuses are going on. So, is this not a very important measure where we are not only just showcasing the important cultures of the our northeastern states, but we are also trying to attract the good things of the northeast. So thereby we are also trying to bring the investment in that area. So important textiles, tourism, craftsmanship, geographical indication, GI products of the northeastern states are highlighted in this Mahotsav. Okay, so this will also attract the investment. Now I will be able to use this thing in the northeast. Lakshmikant, please. Northeastern development. Northeastern development, and also I will also use the same thing in the cultural integration or social integration in the topic of the society. This thing can also be used in the GS4. In the GS4, we have ethics, where the ethics and values differ basis on the region. Now, instead of using the same thing, where using the same examples that are given in the same books, like maybe you might be following Mudit Jain or Lukman IAS or anything, Atul Garnots or anything. Instead of giving the same examples that are given in the same books, you use the current affairs, where you can use these examples. Where how do you bring the attitudinal changes, behavioral changes? Now, this is a unique example. See, a very good, a very good mascot has been used, and the mascot name is Purvi, Parvi. Okay, and this can easily help in bringing immediate attention. Now the person who is also not focusing much, okay, they will look at that mascot. अरे how beautiful it is. You guys are looking at it ना, कितनी अच्छी है देखो, कितनी अच्छी से खूबसूरत से बनाया है. तो this way, this you can use as a case study in your GS4. How you bring the behavioral changes? How do you bring the attitudinal changes? These things can be important. Just give me a second. I'm getting so much of disturbance. Okay, so this is about thing that is relevant for the prelims as well as the mains. They will simply ask what is the Shastra-Lakshmi Mahotsav, okay, and or they may ask about the mascot of the Mahotsav, Purvi. Okay, this is all that you need to know. Okay, symbolizing the importance or the culture of the Northeast. That is the major important point that you need to remember here. Okay, now let's see, understand about the Proba 3 mission. What is this Proba 3 mission? So this is a mission that is trying to study the corona. What is the corona? What is the sun structure? We will try to understand in this class. But before that, first let's understand what is this mission is about. This is a mission that is launched by the PSLV. Are you guys aware of various rocket launching vehicles we have? Are you guys aware of the PSLV, GSLV we have? Any basic idea? PSLV, GSLV, what is this? What are these launching vehicles we have? Okay. Some idea. We will do these things later on. But for now, understand we have launched this thing using the PSLV. We also have the GSLV. These are the satellite launching vehicles. These are kind of rockets. We have different types of the rockets. Okay, PSLV and the GSLV we have. So Proba 3 mission was launched using the PSLV. And this is a collaboration between the ISRO and the European Space Agency. Now, what is this going to study? It is going to study the corona. What is this corona? Before coming to the corona, understand two more points of this. So, this Proba 3 mission has two satellites. Two satellites. Okay, see here. This is the one satellite and this is the second satellite. These satellites are mimicking the solar eclipse because this corona is primarily available or visible during the time period of the solar eclipse. So these satellites are trying to read the corona by creating a artificial type of the solar eclipse where sun is being eclipsed. Solar eclipse means something, some other body is coming between the sun and the observation, right? So this is called the solar eclipse. Now, here our PSLV is a kind of platform to deliver especially European satellites. We are the launching vehicle. So here, what is the significance for us is in the mains point of view is how far we have been able to commercialize our PSLV. Now this commercialization means you are using our own rocket launching vehicles, your satellite launching vehicles to launch some other Western satellites. Is it not a great achievement that ISRO has achieved? We are able to launch some other satellites. So we are able to get not just the money, but also soft power. We are demonstrating our technology globally. See guys, we are no more people who are begging bowls. Like once it was India was called as a kind of begging bowls. Now we are no more the begging bowls. Now we are having a very good technology demonstration in the space sciences. So that is the most important aspect, the takeaway for the means. Okay, even if they ask for the prelims, it is very easy. It is a mission between the, now I have already told you. So ISRO is launching satellites of the Europe. So how many satellites you have? Primarily you have the two satellites, because these two satellites are creating the artificial solar eclipse, satellite 1 and the satellite 2, and thereby reading the corona. Let's understand what are these two satellites. These two satellites are the coronagraph and the occulter, and they are reading the sun's corona. That's it. Not required anything more than that for the prelims point of view. They may, at max, they may ask what is the collaborator, who is the collaborating. They may ask, instead of European Space Agency, they may ask NASA. Okay. So the most important thing for us here is to understand the structure of the sun. Now, let me add one more important point for the prelims. Okay. Can you guys tell me what is the mission by the India to study the corona? Can you guys tell me? Not looking at the paragraph which I have given. Can you guys tell me what is the mission India has to study the same corona? Can anyone? Can anyone tell me? Very important for the prelims. And they can also ask that it is a very important mission. They can ask such a individual missions even in the mains, because currently we are entering into the space domain in a real format. Till now, we are looking at the very small projects. Instead of testing a small launch vehicles, now we are doing exactly the research in the space. Okay, so no one, very important mission, very famous mission, Aditya L1 mission. Yes, Aditya L1 mission. So Aditya L1 is a kind of Lagrange points. We will study about the Aditya L1 later on. Okay, these two are also the missions which are studying the sun's corona. But the difference is, even the Aditya L1 studying the sun's corona from a very long distance, but somehow Parker Solar Probe of the NASA, it will go very close to the corona. That is the most important point that you have to remember. Parker Solar Probe is designed directly to fly through the sun's corona. Does not mean that it's going very close. No. Just little farther than where our Aditya L1 is going. Okay. So it is going very close to the corona and able to study much more detailedly than your Aditya L1 mission and the Proba 3 mission. So very important point that you have to keep in mind. So they can ask you this knowledge of the missions. Am I clear so far? Are we clear? So am I clear so far? Shall I move forward? Okay. Now let's understand the structure of the sun. Why are we studying? Why are we concerned about the sun structure? Because see, three major missions of Europe, USA, and India, they are studying the sun's coronal structure. Above this chromosphere, you have the corona. When we were affected by this viral infection called corona, we always used to reflect this like this, right? The corona. Okay. The same structure is also present in the sun's outer layer of the atmosphere. Okay. This is this structure. This kind of figure is called the corona. This is the final most layer of the earth. Sorry, sun. And all these three bodies, they are studying them. Aditya L1, Proba mission, and the Parker probe. So it's very important to remember that thing. Now let's understand the details about the structure. So this Earth sun has different layers: core, radiation zone, convection zone, and then PCC, photosphere, chromosphere, and the corona. Now, what is happening in the core? Are you guys aware? The sun is going through the process of the nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion, not fission. It is nuclear fusion. What is the nuclear fusion? What is the actually nuclear fusion? Fission. In the nuclear fission process, what we do is we are breaking the nucleus of an atom, right? By breaking the nucleus, we are actually releasing the energy. What is there in the nucleus? Usually you have protons plus the neutrons. And around this nucleus, you have the electrons. This is the structure of atom, right? Protons plus neutrons at the nucleus, and around that you have the negatively charged particle called the electrons. Now, in order to fuse similar charges, neutron is a neutral charge, but in order to fuse the similar charges, it requires some amount of energy. So when you break this nucleus, how do you break this nucleus? By bombarding this with additional neutron. This nucleus will break, because see, already it's like two couples are struggling. Okay, wife and husband or any partners, they are fighting with each other. Some middlemen or some girl bestie or boy bestie try to interfere. Okay, so it will break the nucleus, and that's how energy will be released. This is the process which we do in the nuclear cycles and all. Okay, so we will get into that process later on. Just I have tried to give the brief introduction about the structure of the atom. Your structure of the atom has a nucleus, and around that electron is revolving, and by breaking this nucleus, energy is released, and this process is called the nuclear fission. But nuclear fusion, in this, the amount of energy or radiations are released because of the fusion of the two similar atoms. Where, like say, hydrogen plus hydrogen fuse, or helium and helium fuse, resulting in the other heavier elements. When two lighter atoms fuse together, releasing the heavier atoms in your atomic table. So such a process to be happened, it requires huge amount of energy. Why are we not able to follow this process of the nuclear fusion on our Earth surface and generate the energy? Because in order to bring together two atoms, hydrogen and hydrogen together, and release energy, it requires a lot more energy. And technically, we are currently do not have such a kind of technology. Various experiments are going on in the USA, and also tokamak experiments. You might have heard about this thing. Various nuclear fusion related experiments are going on. Currently, they are in the technology phase only. So we are not able to fuse together two similar atoms, two same size of atoms, in order to result in the higher size of atoms and generate the large amount of the energy. Currently, it is only in the technological phase. But what is causing such a kind of force where two lighter nuclei coming together in the sun? How two hydrogen atoms are coming together within the sun and leading to the nuclear fusion? Can anyone tell me? What is the force that is fusing hydrogen and hydrogen to come together and release such a kind of energy? A nuclear blast is happening in the core. What is that force? Can someone tell me what is the force that is bringing two hydrogen atoms together? Very simple thing. Someone? Easy one. What is that force? अरे easy force, न्यूटन भाई ने यही तो बोला था इतने साल. This is the questions are also asked on this. Gravitation. So because of the gravitation, everything is being attracted towards each other. Now the sun size is very huge. Higher the mass, higher would be the gravitational force, right? Higher the size of the body, greater the size of the body, greater would be the gravitational force. So because of this thing, because of the huge gravitational force, so your whatever the hydrogen that is present in the sun, they are coming towards closer towards another, and fusion is happening, and that's why huge amount of explosion is going on. And around this, huge radiations are being released, and this is called the radiation zone. Am I clear? Now from where the hydrogen came, your entire universe is made up of the nebula. What is nebula? The gaseous structure. This is given in your NCERT, right? The gaseous structure, which is nothing but made up of the hydrogen or helium. Primarily it is hydrogen. After the fusion of the hydrogen, it is later on converted to the helium. So that's why your sun is also primarily made up of the hydrogen, which under the influence of the gravitation fusing together, leading to the nuclear fusion process and releasing a lot of heat and energy. So that way it is leading to the radiations. That is called the radiational phase. This is radiation zone above the core area. And from here, temperatures are being raised in a vertical manner like this. When the temperature is being distributed in a vertical manner, that is called the convection. So this is called as a convective zone. Am I clear so far? Are we clear what is happening in the core and what is happening in the radiation and what is happening in the convective zone? So far it is clear. Vishal, Atharva, Dharani, Lakshmikant, Shivani. Okay. So these are the, like, just even in our earth, we have this lithosphere, all these layers, right? Internal layers. We have so many layers because we got solidified. The temperature in the earth surface have been got cooled down. When even in the sun, if the temperatures fall down, okay, you will find many layers in the interior of the earth. We just do not have the core. We also have the lithosphere, asthenosphere, mesosphere, all these layers we have, because our temperatures have come down. Only core is having the so much of the heat, but for the sun such a cooling has not happened. If such cooling happens, we all will die. Okay, we are able to live because of the sun's heat and the light. Only one unit of the heat and light comes towards that surface, and it is responsible for the all the living activities that is happening on the earth surface. Okay, so such a kind of heat is being released because of the nuclear fusion process. Nuclear fusion, what is the nuclear fusion? Where two atoms, okay, two hydrogen atoms are coming together, two atoms of the same size or same nucleus coming together, fusing together, leading to the helium. Okay, this thing is continuously happening, and because of this nuclear fusion, radiations are being released, and above that layer is called the convective zone, where the temperature distribution is being, the temperature is shared in a vertical manner. Okay, in a form of convective currents. See, that's what I have given here. Core, the innermost part of the sun. This is the site of the nuclear fusion, where hydrogen atoms fuse together to form the helium, releasing the energy approximately 15 million degrees centigrades. Above that is the radiative zone. Here, this energy produced in the core moves outward of the radiative zone. You just have an clarity, just we have the core zone, radiative zone, and the convective zone. That's it. Now, above that, like just we have the lithosphere or the crust. They have the photosphere. This is the visible surface of the sun. And this is the layer where the sunspots also appear. We'll study about the sunspots. And this is the layer on which we have the sunspots. Now see, as you move away from the fire, the temperatures has to decrease, right? As you move away from the fire or from the zone of the point where heat is originating, जहां से फायर निकल रहा है, जहां से टेम्परेचर आ रहा है, वहां पर ज्यादा गर्मी होगी ना. तो जब आप उससे दूर जाओगे तो ऑब्वियसली गर्मी तो कम होनी चाहिए. मेक सेंस? गर्मी तो कम होनी चाहिए. बट इन द सन, यहां से जब आप फोटोस्फीयर, क्रोमोस्फीयर, कोरोना पे जा रहे हो, फोटोस्फीयर से लेके टेम्परेचर इज इंक्रीजिंग, एंड दिस इज व्हाट makes scientists curious. And corona, the topmost layer above the photosphere, chromosphere, and the corona, the topmost layer of the sun's atmosphere, has the highest temperature than the chromosphere or the photosphere. Now, this is a kind of puzzle, and they want to study this corona. And we do not know the reason why these layers have the highest temperatures. But both the chromosphere and the corona are visible all the time or during the solar eclipse. They are visible only during the solar eclipse. And the point and the place on which sunspots happens is called the photosphere. These are the important facts that you have to remember for the prelims point of view. Okay, so I have given this thing about the photosphere on which sunspots appear. Okay, and the chromosphere above the photosphere. This is a reddish glow color, and the corona extremely hot, unsorted mystery why the corona is up to 300 times hotter than the photosphere. This is what that you have to remember. Okay, now apart from this radiations and all, you also need to know geomagnetic storms, solar storms. You might have heard about these things. Some storm is coming from the sun, your satellites get disturbed, or your electric connections get disturbed, or communications get disturbed. What are this? What are this? You might have heard about these things. And even the earth has. You have this earth. Our earth is surrounded by the magnetic field like this. Sorry from my diagram. Okay. These lines do not actually intersect. They originate from different same place. Okay. But these lines do not intersect. This is like this. Okay. Earth's magnetic field. This magnetic field is the one which is acting as a shield in the sun. In the sun, which is 150 crore kilometers far away from the Earth's surface, fusion process is going on. So nuclear radiations will be released. Because of this nuclear radiations, charged particles may come to the Earth's surface. Now these charged particles are blocked by the Earth's magnetic field. And these charged particles may go and settle somewhere else. This is called the Van Allen radiation belt. Van Allen radiation belt. Sometimes when these charged particles are very stronger, when the charged particles very stronger, we call them as a solar flares or coronal mass ejection. Coming from the corona, mass means huge amount of ejections are happening. Huge amount of flares are coming up. And then we call it as a geostorms. In those cases, that might disturb the Earth's communication because so much of radiations are coming into the Earth's surface. So this can disrupt our communication or even the satellites. So these are the things that you need to understand. Even for the same reason, now coronal mass ejections, they are coming from the corona. So that's the reason we are also wanting to study this corona. So in order to understand in which conditions such a kind of solar flares are very strong. Okay. So see here, you have different terminologies. People get confused. Solar flares, coronal mass ejection, solar winds, all these are nothing but the charged particles only. But the intensity will differ. Solar winds, solar flares, and the coronal mass ejection. In the coronal mass ejection, they have the highest intensity because here plasma itself will be thrown out, not just the radiations. Here the plasma itself. Plasma is nothing but the one of the layer, right? One of the state, solid, liquid, gases, and the plasma states. We have 5 states. Fifth state is different thing. Okay, let's assume that there are 4 states: solid, liquid, gases, and the plasma state. The plasma state itself is coming out. So coronal mass ejection is much more stronger on the stronger in terms of the releasing the radiation. So that is the point that you have to remember. Solar winds, they are just charged particles, and then solar flares, intense burst of the electromagnetic radiations, and coronal mass ejections, they are huge plasma and the magnetic fields. All these are coming towards the Earth surface when the storms are very stronger from the sun. So especially the CME is coming from the corona. That's why Aditya L1 mission is also trying to study this thing. So that's why it becomes very important. So am I clear so far? See this power grid failures and all. Okay. So now what are the sunspots? Sunspots are also very important activities. Sunspots are also influence the global warming, climate change, all these activities. So can you see these black spots? And this layer which you see, that reddish color layer, is nothing but the photosphere on which you have the black spots. This is called the sunspots. Usually, because of the intense magnetism that is being generated on the sun surface, some entanglement will happen, and usually compared to the nearby areas, the temperature in these sunspots are usually low. The temperatures are low, but magnetic field is higher. Okay, so these are the sunspots created because of the intense magnetic activity. Obviously, magnetic activity is stronger. So because of this thing, in these cases, solar storms can also be towards the earth, can also be stronger. So that's why we need to study this sunspots. We do not know why this thing happens and all. Who goes onto the sun surface and study all these things? We could not reach that far. Even our Aditya L1 mission is only able to reach 1% of the distance of the sun and earth. Sun is how many kilometers? 150 crore kilometers. Okay. Apart from the distance from the earth surface, we are able to reach only 1.5 crore kilometers. Okay. So that is a point that you need to remember here through the Aditya L1 mission. So these are the temporary phenomena. They are cooler than the other parts of the sun surface. They are caused by the intense magnetic activity. They can also lead to the storms in the intensity. Okay. So these are the points that you need to remember. Why they are cool? Because of the intense magnetic field. Clear? So we have studied important aspects, not just related to the polar Proba 3 mission, but I have also tried to cover the important aspects of the Aditya L1 mission and also the structure of the sun, which is static part of your geography. I have also given the brief introduction about your nuclear fusion process. Recently, if you have seen the UPSC prelims PYQ, they have asked about the structure of the, not structure of the sun, cycle of the sun. Sun is nothing but a star. Your star goes through the different life cycle phases: origin phase, mature phase, and the death phase. Okay, so you might have studied this thing. Okay, once the death happens, then finally it will result in the white dwarf star or red giant star or supernova explosion and all. So those things, those aspects you need to study in your static parts of the geography. Okay, I'm not going into that static part. Okay, I have just given you brief introduction that is important for your geography concept. Please go through that concept as well. Already PYQs twice or thrice they have asked. Now giving you brief introduction about the PSLV. Okay, so PSLV, it is indigenous third generation rocket launching vehicles developed by the ISRO. When we say indigenous, indigenous means our India. They have developed with their own technology. Now this is very successful mission. Only recently 2 missions have failed. Okay, or else all the missions were successful. PSLVs, whatever the satellites we try to launch using this launching vehicle, polar satellite launching vehicle, all the missions were successful. Only recently 1 or 2 missions were lost. And this is the launching vehicle which has brought pride to the ISRO, because no, all the 100% accuracy. So this has elevated the scientific status of the ISRO. No, that's why various countries like Europe, USA, okay, or even Russia, all these countries like other island countries, all they are coming, okay, to launch their own satellites. These things is happening now. They are going to bring the money for us. Okay, now usually this is a 4-stage rocket launching vehicle: solid, liquid, solid, liquid. Okay, solid, liquid, solid, liquid. This is a 4-stage fuel you have. Okay, solid fuel and liquid fuel. Different fuels have the different types of the advantages. We will study about the PSLV, GSLV in detail later on in the upcoming sessions. There I will try to give you the different advantages of the different fuels also. Solid fuel have the different advantage, liquid fuel have the different advantage. Simply saying, solid fuel can give you more thrust, more boost, momentum. Liquid fuel means it's like petrol. You think of like this: when I need, I can turn off. When I don't want, when I want, I will turn on. When I don't want, I will turn off. That is, flexibility is there. Now liquid, it is liquid. In the solid, assume that like a kind of coal. Now if you burn, it will burn everything. You can't stop in between and you can reburn again. It is not possible. That is a solid medium. So it may give you a good momentum, but it is not giving you that flexibility. Okay, so PSLV uses both of them: solid, liquid at the different stages. Okay, so that is the most important thing. So we always had the very so many successful missions. Now, what is the significance? See, it is highly possible that they may ask us the significance of the PSLV. Okay, now when they ask the significance, why not beforehand prepare properly content? I'll use the subheadings: reliability, workhorse, versatility, okay, cost effectiveness, multi-satellite deployment. Apart from this, can I not generate the more points? Soft power. This soft power can also help us in the international diplomacy. Okay, commercialization. or technological ripple effect can be created. Now I am using the rockets. The same things can also be used in the rockets. Okay, the satellite launching vehicles can also be used in the defense technologies. There will not be much change. The same launching vehicles can be loaded with the nuclear material and can be used in launch and delivering the nuclear material, weapons of the mass destruction. That thing can also be done. Okay, so these things will have multiple ripple effects. So that is the point that you need to remember. So when I prepare the short notes, many people will be asking me how to make short notes and all. So most of the areas already, whatever the content is there, you prepare them well. Only those contents which is not there, which takes additional time. There, for suppose if I have to make short notes, I will make short notes reliability, workhorse, versatility, cost effectiveness, multi-state satellite deployment, or commercialization. I should not have the necessity to study all those things again. By looking at those keywords, I should be able to recall. Okay, that should be there. What are the some important things launched by the PSLV? Your Chandrayaan 1, okay, your Mars orbital mission. I think Chandrayaan 2 is by the GSLV. Your Aditya L1, which is also by the PSLV. Okay, these are the important things that you need to study about the PSLV. So if they ask you, now this is the main point of view. They will not ask. They will not ask this thing in the prelims. Okay, significance. They will ask us in the mains. So when we study for the satellite technology, this is how we'll study, both from the prelims and the mains point of view. Just let me give you the brief idea. Why do we take the satellites? What are the satellites? Generally, this is the Earth surface. Satellite means usually it can be artificial or man-made. Usually, these are satellites we call those bodies which are revolving around the other body, like this. Okay. Now, Earth's natural satellite. What is Earth's natural satellite? What is revolving around the Earth? What is Earth's natural satellite? Very good. And Earth is the satellite of further. So this is the moon. Now Earth is revolving around. Very good. Sun. So these are the natural satellites. In the same way, we'll put there some communication satellites like transceivers, receivers, some kind of communication things, or some photographs we'll keep there in order to take the photographs. Now, if I have to take the photograph of the Earth surface, will you take? Is it better to keep the satellite close to the surface or very far? I have to take the photographs. Photographs means Earth observation satellites. I am watching the Earth surface. So will you keep the satellite close to the Earth surface or far away from the Earth surface? If I have to take the photographs, will I get the clear picture when I take the image close from the sun, close from the Earth surface or far? Yes, it is close from the Earth surface. So generally, Earth observation satellites are placed close to the Earth surface. Earth observation satellites. So usually your PSLV is able to launch because its payload capacity, its ability to carry the load, okay, is limited. GSLV is able to carry as far as 3 tons. PSLV is nearly 1 and 1.5 tons, or even 5 tons in the lower Earth orbit. So usually PSLV will be able to carry lower load, like these Earth observation image sensing satellites and all. So we keep those things in the lower Earth orbit and they are delivered by the PSLV. If we have to communicate, if we have to do the communication, we need a place where the place is not changing with respect to the Earth's rotation. Earth is like this rotating. It is moving like this, like this, like this. It is rotating as well as revolving. So a place where it is in the sync, like this. Like now say this is the point that is trying to communicate with this at this place. So when I place a satellite at a particular point where it is always in the sync, it is not changing its position. So such a kind of feasibility is possible for me when I increase the distance at the 36,000 kilometers. That is called as a geostationary orbits. At such a places, you can find a point where there is a receiver on the Earth surface and there is a transmission at that orbit. And so that communication will happen. Generally, so communication satellites are placed in the higher Earth orbit because only at that place you can always have the effective communication. Or else what happens is you will miss the satellite. Now I have to communicate with the Shivani or I have to communicate with the Atharva or anyone. Now satellite is somewhere else. I will miss the communication. So the satellite is always fixed at one place in relation to the transmitter or receiver, whatever it is. So such a kind of possibility is generally found in the when the distance is increased, when the orbits are increased. Okay, better communication is possible. Okay, we'll come to the points later on. Just I have given the brief idea about the lower Earth orbit and the higher Earth orbit. Generally, lower Earth orbit are used for the Earth observation satellites. Higher Earth orbit are always used for the communication purposes. Okay, no, we have studied about the significance of the PSLV. That's it. Now we are moving towards another topic of the your GS3. It is one of the important input for your agriculture, seeds. Now see, if the question is being asked about the seed, generally I have seen people, let's say, examine the seeds constraint in India. Seed sector constraint in India. Okay, let's say not example, examine seed sector constraints in India. Okay, let's assume that this is the question asked in the GS3. This is hanging in the news for a long time. They can ask anytime. Now, if this is the question asked, so I have seen people are defining things. They go on, define seed. What will you do defining the seed here? It's not necessary. So in this context, I will use a significance. So while talking about the constraints of the seed sector, first let me talk about the significance of the seed sector. Now, when I have to talk about the significance of the seed, I will talk the most important seed, nothing but the high yielding variety seed, which has led to the green revolution. And because of the same high yielding variety seed, where India has become a not from the food begging bowl to the currently the net exporter of rice. We are the largest producer of the rice, right? So currently 350 million tons of the cereal production is there. So this is being possible because of the green revolution. So that is what I'll write in the introduction. Now, but what are the constraints being faced? So if for you to grow any kind of thing, okay, for be it a cereals, for the farmer to grow, to go for the cropping pattern, be it for the seeds, be it for the cereals, oil seeds, pulses, or even millets. First, from where the germination happens, it happens from the seed. Okay. So, preparation, or like what is the from where you got the seed of preparing for the IAS of like IAS exam or civil services exam? They'll start there. Okay, seed is considered as a point of origin. किसने डाला है ये बीन्स आपके दिमाग में, ये बोला जाता है ना, तो बीन्स से ही पूरा निकलता है कुछ भी हो. तो seed plays very important role. Now, you might have studied at many places that pulses and the oil seeds we import. We are not able to meet the demand of the countries. We import, and this is also causing the current account deficit. We import so much of oil seeds and the pulses. Here, the prime reason is we could not find such a high quality seeds in case of the oil seeds and the pulses. We could find such a kind of variety in the cereals, but not in the oil seeds and the pulses. That is one of the problem. Okay, just I'm telling you. Okay, so what are the other problems generally we have? We in India, most of the seeds are informal. Okay, so farmer मतलब they will grow for the kind of germination. मतलब farmer ही बनाते हैं. जैसे कि अब एक crop निकला है, उसके जो seeds आए हैं, उसमें से जो आए हैं, तो that those will be used. So what is happening here is there are no specialized companies that are properly involved in the breeding of the seeds. Breeding means मतलब you are doing some kind of research and आपने एक seed को बनाया है. That is called the breeding of the seeds. Currently in India, seeds are informal. मतलब formal through their own mechanisms and all. Informally, seeds are being developed. एंड जो भी क्रॉप के थ्रू, अब आप एक बार राइस डाला है और उसके थ्रू आते हैं ना, तो उसी को फिर से यूज किया किया जाता है, नया सीड्स को नहीं यूज कर रहे, तो उसके वजह से क्रॉप फेल्यूर और उसकी एफिशिएंसी कम रहती है. सो दैट इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम इन इंडिया. सो मेजर प्रॉब्लम इज इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर इज प्रेजेंट. सीड रिप्लेसमेंट है नहीं. देर इज नो लैक ऑफ सीड रिप्लेसमेंट. मतलब नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन आई गो फॉर द क्रॉपिंग ऑफ द न्यू क्रॉप, am I using the new seed for the germination purposes? Most of the times I am using the seeds from the previous crop. So that is not going to give you the outcomes. So seed replacement level is hardly 20-30%. This is a big problem. Even if I use the new seeds, they are either they are promoting the other monoculture. मतलब seeds में भी diversity है नहीं. They are promoting the same single variety. जैसे कि बीटी कॉटन हो गया. बीटी कॉटन सेम सीड वेराइटी. तो व्हाट विल हैपन इफ आई गो फॉर द मोनोक्रॉप? कुछ भी एक बीमारी आ गई, स्मैश, एवरीवन विल डाई. अगर डाइवर्सिटी अलग अलग है ना, इवन इन द मैरिजेस द पीपल से ना, यू ट्राई टू मैरिज, यू ट्राई टू मैरी हु हैज अ लॉट ऑफ जेनेटिक वेरिएशन. तो इसलिए बोलते हैं इंटर कास्ट इंटर रिलीजियस मैरिजेस अच्छे होते हैं. ओके, दैट्स व्हाई दे से, ओके यू, इट इज बिलीव, नॉट बिलीव, ओके इट इज नोन. इंटर रिलीजियस एंड कास्ट अगर ज्यादा अपने अपने जेनेटिक के से दूर जाते हो ना, तो इट वुड बी वेरी गुड रेदर दैन marrying within your family systems and nearby systems. It is not that effective for you. Okay, so because the genetic diversity will be very very good, so you can be much more stronger. So same thing here, even in the kinds of the cropping pattern. But this is one of the problem. And another problem is you have few monopolies like monsanto. Monsanto is a company which is the one releasing the bt seeds. Now what these guys do is they will not allow the same seed to be used for the next time. So you have a kind of very monopolies. Very few companies are playing role here. So very limited companies. मतलब यहाँ पर proper competition है नहीं. Even if the competition is there, the policy structure governing it in India is very poor. We have Indian Seeds Act of 1968 something. यार कब का जमाना है? 1960s, almost 60 years old act. Now this is being used to properly do the kind of regulation and frameworking of the seed system in India. So many times bills were introduced, but it was not successful. So that's why the Indian seeds industry is in the news. So now anything, if things comes in the news, you will not get confused. जो भी topics हमने discuss किया है अब तक, if these things appear in the news, you will no more be confused or affected by it. See here, this is the significance. Now, if they ask you for the mains challenges of the Indian seed industry, majority are the farm saved seeds. Seed replacement level is very low. It is 10 to 20%. And there is no diversity. And very less quality seeds are available because most of them are the farm saved seeds. Research and development is very poor. Outdated laws and policies. Seed Act 1966. Monoculture and monopoly. Lack of research and development facilities. So these are the problems of the Indian seed industry. That's it. This is all. This is what you need to know for your mains. If some new bill is in the news or if any act is passed, then they can ask that thing. Until unless it is not required. Okay, so see different types of the seeds. Breeder seed is the original source of the seed. From that you will get the foundation seed. Foundation seed is produced from the breeder seeds. After that it will be registered and then it will be used as a certified seeds. We have very less number of the certified seeds. And all those seeds, even they are certified, we are not sure of their quality. Okay, so that is a problem we have in the India. Okay, another important scheme related to this is Seed Village Concept 2014. Okay, this is a central sector scheme where government will provide the 50% of the cost and 60% of the cost for the these kind of seeds and these kind of seeds in order to properly develop the foundation certified seeds. Basically, it is kind of providing the incentives to the farmers in order to develop such kind of foundation seeds. Seed Village Concept. Okay, so this is related to the seed sector in India. Why this thing I have discussed? Because recently National Seed Congress 13th edition of the National Seed Congress. An annual meeting was held, and it was held in the UP. And the theme of this was innovating for a sustainable seed ecosystem. And this meeting was conducted in the UP by the Indian International Rice Research Institute, and also the National Seed Research and Training Center. Okay, this thing they can ask. Okay, and the Ministry of Agriculture and the Farms Welfare has hosted this thing. So these points are important, but it is not that important for the prelims. But I have used this thing to discuss about this seed sector. So are you guys clear about the seed sector? So still there are many things. Plant Varieties Act, Plant Varieties and Protection Act. You might be aware about this patents. Have you guys heard about the patents? When I do any kind of innovations, so I will be given protection. I will be given protection on my innovation for 20 years. For suppose, Samudraya has innovated something. Okay, some medicine for the cough, or something he has done, something innovation. Okay, where I take that pill, I'm losing weight, I'm getting the six-pack abs. Now something Samudraya has done the innovation. Now, to do such kind of innovation, he must have studied, he must have used a lot of resources in order to encourage Samudraya to do more such kind of innovation, in order to compensate Samudraya for the resources he used to do such kind of innovation. I will make sure for 20 years, no one is going to produce something like what Samudraya has done. So I am giving the patent rights, exclusivity. Only Samudraya will manufacture or sell that product. So for 20 years, there will be monopoly for the Samudraya. But this system will not be applicable for the agriculture. We have the Indian Patent Acts, but for the agriculture, we have Plant Varieties and the Patents Act. Plant Varieties and the Protection Act. We'll discuss about this someday. Plant Varieties and the Protection Act. Because see, India is a developing country. Here Samudraya, if he does some kind of innovation, he will be using the local resources. So, and this can impact the food security. So that's why slight modifications has been done in the patents, and some changes have been done. This is called the Plant Varieties and the Protection Act. This is also important. I think they have asked already in the mains. Okay, some other day when if they have any kind of current affairs appears from this region, okay, from this area, we will do that thing. Okay, Plant Varieties and the Protection Act. Now, this is the aspect that you need to study about the National Seed Congress. Okay. Now, before coming into the environment aspect, let me come to the internal security aspect. So, do you guys remember the anti-missile system which was developed by the Israel? Have you studied this thing? We have discussed Iron Dome. Then above that, what is the system they have? Can someone say? There was a 3-layered system. David Sling. Very good. And the arrow. Now, in the same way, India is also surrounded by the unfriendly countries, not so friendly countries. So India has also developed a kind of anti-missile defense system. So now our India's missile defense system has the 2 phases. Okay, this phase 1 and the phase 2. Phase 1 and we have the phase 2. Currently, the phase 2 is in the technical demonstration phase, and phase 1 is in the operational phase. Okay, so we have the 2 phases. In the phase 1, we have the 2 components. Prithvi, okay, so it will be able to destroy the missiles up to the 80 kilometers. Okay, so here, if the missile is entering in India, so till 80 kilometers, Prithvi will be able to destroy. Below that, you have the Ashwin. It will be able to destroy some missile. Pakistan has thrown some missile towards the India. First, Prithvi will try to block it. Now, somehow Prithvi missed it, and it has entered into the endo atmosphere. Now, Ashwin will be released. Ashwin. So it will be able to demonstrate, it will be able to block it. Somehow Ashwin has also missed. Now Dharani is carrying some another missile system on her shoulder. It is portable. Somehow, okay, she got inspired by some James Bond movies, and okay, she is carrying, okay, anti-missile system on her shoulder. Okay, and that system is also recently demonstrated. Okay, some experiments is going on, and that is called. Array, I did not give it. What? Huh. Okay, very short range air defense system. This is also being developed by the DRDO. See, 6 kilometers. They will, in the future, they will also integrate it probably, but they may not integrate it because this is portable. Okay, like officer, like they can be even carried and moved away. Okay, other systems are generally fixed. Okay, this is a very important point that you need to remember. They because that is also related to the same thing I have discussed. Now, this is developed by the DRDO in collaboration with the research center Emarat. Okay, whoever it is, okay, whatever it is. Okay. Previously, we used to take this kind of system from the Russia. Okay, and that is called the IGLA systems. But it was causing problems. Russia was delaying it. So now recently we have test fired, and recently only last 2 months back in the October it was in the news. Okay, so that's why that system becomes very important. So we have studied 3 systems. Now what? Why do we have to wait till the missile is reaching till 80 kilometers? Why not destroy it in the 2000 kilometers itself? Why not destroy it in 3000 kilometers itself? So that's why we have the phase 2. It is a range up to the 2 kilometers. Okay, so it has the highest range of kilometers, 3000 to 5000 kilometers, and or more than 5000 kilometers. Agni 5 is also being trying to develop. Okay, this is up to 2000 kilometers. So this is the phase 1 and phase 2. This currently for this we are still in the testing phase. Phase 1 has been operationalized. And this swordfish is the radar that is being used for the tracking. Okay, radar means when if the any missile is entering into your atmosphere, these radars will tell, okay, come on Shivani, get ready, or come on Vishal, get ready, launch our missiles. Okay, so India's ballistic missile defense program, is it clear? Am I clear? Okay. Now, the same context, let's also study the other possible aspects. Now they want to, it was not in the news, but just I'm giving you the basic idea. It was somewhere in the news some 3-4 years back. Just have a brief idea. Okay, they wanted to develop a kind of multi-layer defense system for the Delhi. Okay, they wanted to develop both. They want to include both the S-400. This is the missile system that is being developed from the taken from the Russia, and they also want to include the NASAMS. This is a kind of anti-missile system that is from the USA. Okay, somehow US, we did not take this. We did not buy from this USA. It got failed. Okay, somehow we do not buy this. Okay, so it got failed. Just have an idea. That is an ASAMS is from the USA. It is very important to remember. Okay, ASAMS and S-400. Okay, and you can also remember this Barak. Barak is a medium and the long range, and Akash is a indigenously developed surface to air missile. Okay, this is also one of the interception missiles. Okay, that's it. Now, this S-400 is also a system, anti-ballistic missile defense system taken from the Russia. This is a very good system of medium range, somewhere around medium range, but this is very efficient. They are very fast. Again, we are importing this thing from the Russia, but we don't want to depend on the Russia. So why do we have to depend on the Russia? So for this also, we are trying to develop a indigenous system, and that indigenous system is called is being developed under the Project Kusha. Project Kusha, very important. Project Kusha, it is being developed under the indigenously by the DRDO. It is aimed for the completion by the 2028 and the 2029. Very important project. Okay, so if anything comes under the security related issues, India, Pakistan, India, China, when you are talking about the measures, these things you have to utilize. Effective utilization of the Project Kusha. India has to, for the China, what do we have to do? We have to, in order to deal with the China, one thing, economic diplomacy is needed. Economic diplomacy. That means increase the economic engagement with the China. economic engagement with the China. Then we also need the political diplomacy. Political diplomacy means mineral diplomacy. Okay, we can include in any thing mineral, but what kind of minerals we in the economic, maybe we can do the support. Okay, political diplomacy where we are interacting with the China on the global organizations like BRICS, G20. We are engaging actively there. Okay, what is that? SEO. We are engaging here, and don't we need defense preparedness? In the defense preparedness, we are developing the border infrastructure. I will take up various infrastructure projects that are being taken up in the Arunachal Pradesh and all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You might have heard about this Daulat Bigi Oldi road. Okay, where we are constructing the infrastructure. That's why China was um, was anxious. Okay, they were scared. Okay, we are constructing the highways. If there are proper roads, we are able to mobilize our army in a fast forward manner if any problem happens. Now, this is also anti-ballistic missile defense system. If China throws any missiles on you, now you will be able to block it. In the same way, we are also developing our submarines. We are developing the submarines, our nuclear-based submarines, diesel-based submarines. Okay, we have this project with the France. What is that project name? I am not able to recall. Project 75I. Project 75I. Okay, so we have this thing. We are also developing the aircraft carriers. So many things we are doing. All these are the defense preparedness. And then we are also strategically dealing with the China. How are we doing this uh, strategical deal? By collaboration with the USA. Like we are doing the Quad. We are also increasing our relationships with the Taiwan, South Korea. We are improving our relationships with the Africa. Okay, friendly countries, South-South cooperation. So these things we are doing. So that's how this becomes important. You have to mention these things where it is relevant. Okay. So I have given all the important things. PAC is also one of the important anti-missile system of the USA. This thing. And now another thing is AWAC. This is also one of the kind of radar system like this. It is flowing in the atmosphere. Okay, like this. There will be one flight. It will be telling you from where the missile is coming, or from any from any friendly aircraft carrier, any friendly aircraft is coming, or any enemy aircraft is coming. So it will be able to differentiate also. So if any kind of threats are coming, and this is a 360-degree. It's providing the 360-degree coverage. Okay, so AVOX, airborne early warning and the control system that you need to understand here. And then you have the Defense Acquisition Council. It is important highest decision making body in the areas of the defense, and it is chaired by the Defense Minister of the India. Important point that you need to remember. So what is the major role? Now see, we have to take the S-400 from the Russia, or any kind of acquisition of the defense materials from the China, from the USA or from the France. Okay, Defense Acquisition Council has to approve it. So it is the highest decision making body in terms of the defense procurement. So many things are happening in terms of the defense related aspects. Now, like I was going through this some Congress manifesto when the elections was being conducted. We do not have the national security strategy. So Congress was saying we will provide this national security strategy also. Currently, we do not have the national security strategy. Okay, we will discuss about this thing someday. Okay. So various reforms are going on about the indigenization of the defense technology, defense technologies, and various things are going on. So we have to study things a lot. Only when you study in this manner, in this comprehensive manner, you will be able to say, my preparation is over. Then you can feel confident before you go into the prelims hall. Very few people might be knowing more than you. So then you can say, you can go in the exam hall. You can say, if I do not know this aspect, others will also be not knowing this thing. You can stay confident about it. So that is the level of preparation that is expected from you. If you can do this level of preparation, you will definitely qualify the prelims. So I have always qualified the prelims with the same reason. Okay, so I want you guys to prepare in this holistic manner. Okay, so am I clear so far? Are you guys are able to link things and understand things in a comprehensive manner? Are you guys able to follow things? Okay. Okay. So another thing is that TECMA. Another thing is a kind of TECMA. Okay, this was a kind of recent meeting that was happened. Not that very important, and this is also a meeting where they are talking about indigenization of the defense technologies. Okay, now see here the reason why I have given here. The Chief of Defense Staff urged the research and defense organization for the Atmanirbhar Bharat and make India a Sakshat, Surakshit and Vikasit Bharat. Use this thing in the mains like I've written here. Okay, we not just need the Viksit Bharat, but we also need Sashakt Surakshit Bharat. Okay, these things I will use in the conclusion. Okay, so this is the important point. That's the reason I have taken. Okay, TECMA 2024. This also you can use in one of the measures that are being taken by the India. Okay, these kind of meetings where they are promoting the indigenization of the defense technologies. Okay, so that's how things become important for you. Okay, let's move into the environment area. Just take 1-2 minutes break. We have to take the 1.5 hour class. We have to at least take 1.5 to 2 hour class. As I go, I'll increase. Are you guys not learning? So in the 1 hour class, you might be learning so many things. So this thing should not will not stress you much. Okay, if you sit in 1.5 hour or 2 hours class of mine, you will be learning things which you will generally take 2 days at least 1 day for you to collect and organize things in a proper manner. So that is a level of understanding I'm trying to provide in a very consolidated manner. Okay, now let's try to understand about the project Cheetah. Do you want a small break or shall I continue? Just half an hour more. Shall I continue or you want break? At Shivani or Suman, I forgot. Harani. Vishal, are you able to follow? Okay. I think you are not there in the previous session. The session is uploaded on the YouTube. You can also watch that lecture. Now see, project Cheetah. In the previous class, we have also studied the integrated wildlife habitat. Have you guys remember this thing? Integrated wildlife habitat. I have given this thing because it was in the news. Central government has allotted some amount of funds based on the 15th Finance Commission recommendations to this integrated wildlife habitat and also on the project Cheetah, on the project Tiger. So that's why these things are in the news. Like I have told you, integrated wildlife habitat. What is this integrated wildlife habitat? You are protecting the entire habitat. So this is a kind of ecosystem approach. I want you to use this thing in your GS3 answer writing, mains answer writing, ecosystem based approach. So instead of species based approach or a kind of animal based approach like cheetah or anything, flagship animal based approach, you go for the ecosystem. Entire ecosystem is being protected, like Sundarban Biosphere Reserve, Simlipal Biosphere Reserve. So biosphere reserves are the very bigger areas. So where you are also protecting the entire area, not just single species, you are protecting the trees, you are protecting the local population, everything, because all of them are living together in harmony. You might have heard about this thing. Asiatic tigers, sorry, Asiatic lions. Where are they living? Can someone tell me? In India, only place where these Asiatic lions are available. Very good. Gir National Park. Now, because of the inbreeding is happening, they want to relocate this Asiatic lions to the what is this Kuno National Park, which is present in the your MP. Okay. So the point here is this Asiatic lions are very social animals. Tigers are not social. Generally, lions are more social. Now, these Asiatic lions are protected by the local tribal people. And these tribals are called Maldhari tribes. So these tribal people, they are much more aware about the local traditions and cultures. They will be able to protect the things in a much more better manner than the other guys. So that's the point here. Now see, whatever the points that I'm saying, if you do not utilize these things in the GS4 or GS3, that will not be helpful. How effectively you can use the local people population. When you talk about relocation, development, again, you have to use these points in the GS3, ecosystem-based approach, ecosystem-based approach, local solutions. Example, Maldhari tribe. I don't have to remember so many examples. That's it. Maldhari tribe, I remember. That's it, done for me. Now, in the same Gujarat area, okay, this is the area. Okay. Now here you have this Gir Lions, Gir National Park. And here you have the Great Ran of Kutch and the Little Ran of Kutch. And here you have the wild ass. Wild ass. Generally, these wild ass are found in the India and the Pakistan areas. And recently, the wild ass population has also increased. Now, I'm also giving you one more example. And if you go little north, here you have the Indian bustards. Now, see, when they ask you about the biodiversity distribution, or when they ask you to write about the habitat conservation protection, you have this much of the content from the prelims. I get surprised why students will not use these things in the mains. Now, these great Indian bustards are many types. Bustards are largest terrestrial birds. Okay. And great Indian bustard is biggest bird of among all those bustards. Now they are dying because of the electrical wires. Now I will use these animals here to protect about the local population, and in these areas how the wildlife are there, or in this area how the great Indian bustards are there, how they are getting destroyed under the by getting the electric shocks. So you should be in a position to utilize this content that you are studying for the prelims. That's how you will get the marks. Okay. Now let's come to the Project Cheetah. I'll discuss this thing. Now, Project Cheetah, why I have discussed this thing is this integrated wildlife habitat, they are using this money also to for the Project Cheetah. Now, what they are doing is Project Cheetah is a kind of animal which live in the grasslands. See, all of your animals like tigers, lions, elephants, rhinos, all these animals usually live in the grasslands. They can't live in the deciduous, dry, very good evergreen forest. If the forests are very huge evergreen like this, gregarious, okay, like this, evergreen means there is no space between the tree and tree. They are always green in color. There is no space between there. Do you find any kind, if you do not have any kind of space, how can the big sized animals like tiger, lion move here? So usually these big sized animals are found in the deciduous varieties or grasslands, forest. Here, what do you find is if you have so many trees, what kind of animals you can find? Can someone tell me? Vishal, Dharani, or Shivani? If you have so many trees like this, densely packed trees, which kind of animals generally you will find? Very good. Arboreals, we call monkeys and the snakes. Very good. And these tigers, lions, elephants, and even the cheetahs used to live in these grasslands. But somehow cheetahs got extincted because we have did a lot of poaching or killing of the animals just for the fun, and we have killed them. So now we want to reintroduce them. Why? Because cheetah is a one big animal. Why are we protecting the tigers? Why are we protecting elephants? When you take care of such a big sized animals, all of the animals will get protected or kept in the control, because you guys know trophic cycles, food chain, and the food webs, where all the animals are living in a kind of web pattern. So if I take care of the one animal, so yes, it will be taking care of the other animals. So cheetah is a kind of flagship species, or I will also use keystone species. But here cheetah is not a keystone species because even without cheetah we are surviving, right? So it is not keystone species. Keystone species means if I remove that animal, all the other ecosystem will get destroyed. Okay. If other animal which is such a huge importance, I'll call as a flagship species. You use these words when they talk about the GS3 questions and all. Okay, many keystone species get destroyed. Okay, ecosystem approach and all. So that's why we are introducing the cheetah. So first we have introduced the cheetah from the Namibia, and then we went to the South Africa, and now currently we want to introduce from the Kenya. Where did we introduce? We introduced in the Kunho National Park. First, initially we went to the Iran for the Asiatic cheetah. Asiatic cheetah, Iran, we are also Asia, so they have more close similarities. But Iran said, look, India, bro, our cheetah is critically endangered. They asked even Girlens. Okay, our basically they said they are critically endangered. Now the cheetahs of the South Africa or Namibia, they are generally large in population. So that's why we have took them. We have took those cheetahs. Okay, and then we have introduced in the Kuno National Park. But before introducing them, we have investigated the area. We have found these are the grasslands, but and we have kept them. We have held them in a captivation, and then we have slowly released them. But still, after releasing them in a careful manner, still many cheetahs are dying. Few say they are not able to adjust to the environment, or few say the prey is not enough. Now the cheetahs and lions, cheetahs and the tigers are may fight against each other. The natural prey is not available and all. So these things are in the news. So in this context, from the prelims point of view, so you need to know from what they can ask in the mains point of view, they can ask from the prelims point of view, they can ask these things. Okay, the status of the different species. Okay, let me show you that aspect. Okay. Where is that? Various subspecies of the cheetah. They are found in the Africa and the Central Iran. So Asiatic cheetah critically endangered only in the Iran. So you also have the Saharan cheetah, which is also critically endangered. You need to remember these 5 species. And then we have the Sudan cheetah, Tanzanian cheetah, and the South African cheetah, which we have introduced. Okay. Tanzanian is a Kenyan cheetah. All these are the vulnerable. Only South African cheetah or Namibian cheetah has a large population, do not have any kind of problems. Other 2 are the critically endangered. Now cheetah. Okay, now we all, since these kind of questions were asked already previously by the UPSC, I have tried to mention the differences between the different types of the animals. Okay, the cheetah and the puma and all these things. Let me give you. See, these are all these things belong to the family of the Panthera. Okay, leopard, jaguar, cheetah, lion, and the tiger. Puma is a different. Okay, they are active at the night. So leopard is also found in the India. And the jaguar generally it is found in the North America, and the puma is found both in the North America and the South America. And what is the difference between the cheetah and the leopard? Cheetah are generally much more stronger. Okay, they are much more stronger in the size, that you have to remember, and they are vulnerable in the size. Okay, so that is a point that you have to remember here. Okay, jaguar found in the American continent. Puma, it is largely for nocturnal and it is found in the North America and the South America. Just have an idea. These are much more shorter and the stronger. Okay, they can ask this for the prelims point of view. And that's it. Okay, these are the important things that you have to remember regarding the cheetah. And apart from this, where it was being introduced, Kuno National Park. It is present in the Vindhyan region and it is a grassland. Apart from this, Kanha National Park is also in the news, same thing in the Madhya Pradesh region. And this thing has a mascot with a Barasingha. It is a deer. And the same Kanha National Park is also mentioned in the famous book called the Jungle Book. Okay, very important, very nice cartoon program. Then it used to come. Okay, animation. Okay, now currently there is a movie also. Okay, that you can remember. Now currently they want to relocate these cheetahs to the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Now this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is also having the dam. Okay, which is present on the Chambal River. It becomes very important. Okay, that's the reason, very important. Relocation of the cheetah is going on. Any other important thing related to that? This project Cheetah is being taken by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Okay, and that is also point I have mentioned here. The wildlife population is being increased based on the census that is being conducted. that is called the wildlife population estimation that is being conducted in the Gujarat. There is also one more World Association of Zoos is in the news. It is an NGO that gives the accreditation to the various zoos present in the worldwide. The National Zoological Park in the Delhi has lost its membership because of some concerns. Okay, something related to the welfare of the African elephants. Somehow, the WASA has suspended the Delhi National Zoological Park of the Delhi. So that's why WASA in the news. It is a NGO that gives the accreditation. That is a point that you have to remember. Okay, so Great Indian Bustard. Only currently 150 Great Indian Bustards are available, and they are dying, especially because of the this electric shock. Okay, so Supreme Court has ordered the underground burial of the power lines so that in order to rescue these birds. Once there were so many birds, but now we have very less number of the birds. So there is also a very important thing that you need to remember. Now within this sea, different bird species are there. Bustards are terrestrial birds. You have the Great Indian Bustard, which is critically endangered. Indian Bustard, which is also critically endangered. Lesser Florican and the Haubara Bustard, and then you have the Bengal Florican. Okay, so 5 species. Try to remember, have an idea for the prelims point of view because they are always in the news. At least these things, these critically endangered, I will keep in the news. Okay, those things. Bengal Florican. Anyway, we'll be able to remember this thing as a Bengal and a less Florican are the endangered. Okay, so that thing you can do. Locust infestation. Okay, locust, you might have heard about this thing. Okay, and they are trying various measures to repel this locust. They are using the neem oil also. So that's why by using this neem oil, they came into the news. Okay, even the neem oil is being used. Okay, these kind of questions they can ask sometimes in the prelims. Can the neem oil can also be effective way to repel the locust? So if you have not studied, then we may struggle. Living Planet Report. Who releases this Living Planet Report? Worldwide, WWF. WWF releases this Living Planet Report. Okay, this WWF tracks various living organisms. Of the species that is tracking, there is almost 73% decline in the monitored wildlife species population from 1972 to 2000. So very serious concern, right? I will use this thing in the fact, even in the mains. Now for the prelims point of view, I will remember WWF Living Planet Report. Okay, there is another thing called a Living Planet Index report. This is released by the Geological Society of the London. Okay, and this now even this thing can also be used. It has included the 35,000 population trends of the 5,495 species, and even this species population is decreasing. Okay. Now another thing is a biological biodiversity intactness index. So this biodiversity intactness index means biodiversity present in the protected areas. The biodiversity present in these protected areas are facing the crisis. That is a major concern that is given in the biodiversity intactness index. Okay, so that is also the part that you need to have an idea. Just remember this thing: Living Planet Index and Living Planet Report that can be asked for the prelims point of view. Another thing is the Nature Conservation Index. It was created by the Goldman. Just have an idea. This is another factual thing. This Nature Conservation Index has these parameters, and India performed very poor, 176. So that's why this can be asked. Okay, we have the 4 parameters: land management, biodiversity threat, governance and capacity, and the future trends. So based on this thing, India has performed very poor. And this is the index released by some Goldman School of Sustainability and Climate Change at Ben Gurion University. Ben Gurion is also a project that we have seen, okay, as an alternative to the Suez Canal. Okay, we have seen this thing. Okay, so this CBD and Aichi, all these things we will see in the upcoming sessions. Okay, in the next session we'll see Aichi Aichi target, CBD, Nagoya Protocol, and recent meetings that has been happened. Okay, Kunming Declaration, COP16, all these things we'll see in the upcoming sessions. Protected Planet Report. Now, have you guys understood how the same limited content can also be used both from the prelims point of view and the mains point of view? Have you guys understood? Shivani or Dharni? पहले 10 लोग थे. देखो, this is what happens. Students are not able to focus for 1.5 hours. There is no proper commitment from the student side. I don't see. Okay, 1 hour बैठ नहीं पा रहे बहुत सारे लोग. Very few people will properly attend the classes. So certain people will not be able to study properly. That is called attention disorder. Half an hour they'll be able to study 15 minutes. That's it. They'll feel too much. Okay, we have studied a lot and all. So that should not happen. If you are in the UPSC preparation, 7 to 9 hours. Not just in the UPSC preparation, anywhere. If you want to achieve the success, you have to do the 7 to 9 hours preparation consistently. That's what that can bring the success, or else even success not at all possible for you. Even in these cases, there would be many challenges. There would be many people, others are also doing 7 to 9 hours. Again, many factors play the role. So it is important condition, but not necessary. Okay, even I have studied for the 7 to 9 hours, but certain mistakes I have committed, and that's why I could not. But without doing this thing, no one will be able to do. Anyone who have cleared, definitely they will do. You are not even eligible if the person is not even studying for the 7 to 9 hours. Okay, so that is very important that we show that level of commitment when we do. Okay, when I enroll for any classes, what I used to do is, in my preparation journey, I used to study anyway for 7 hours. Apart from that, when I'm tired, I'll watch the classes. Maybe my classes will be evening. Okay, so by then I will be exhausted. So 6:30 will start. So by then you must have already studied at least 6 hours. So by doing for 1.5 hour class, it will be very exhausting. 7 to 8 hours preparation will be there. So once you watch the class, the revision will take very less time, right? So for the others, it will look like a 50 pages booklet or more. It's very difficult. Now, for the person who has attended the lecture, it is not that difficult, right? So what needs to be studied and what not, it becomes very easy. So enjoying the lectures, fine. Okay, chalo, we'll meet again next week. And then we'll meet from the next week. Okay. Probably these three would be only the open sessions. Rest of the things will be available only for the paid students. Okay. So timings would be same. 6:30 it will be there. So like I think Dharani, okay, Sumant, Suma. Okay. So now you got index also. Okay. So font sizes are also changed. I have made changes in the font sizes and all. Suggestions incorporated. Okay. It will be uploaded in the material. PDF will be uploaded in the Telegram channel. Okay. Any other things you wanted to discuss, you can do that. Okay. Take care, all of you. Good night. Bye bye. Happy Sunday. Have a good time. Bye bye.